Hello and welcome to SAP on Microsoft Azure. My name is Holger Bocholt, and in this video, I want to take a look at how you can leverage the SAP Cloud Appliance Library to quickly deploy SAP solutions on Microsoft Azure. After publishing several videos about how to integrate SAP and Microsoft, I got several questions on how to test these scenarios by yourselves. Often you cannot or you do not want to use an existing sandbox system in your environment, but want something where you can test and play without impacting anyone else. The question was, how do I do this, and what is this SAP Cloud Appliance Library? The interesting thing is that I got these questions from both SAP and Microsoft-focused customers and partners. Well, although there are quite a few videos and blogs out there that talk about how to leverage the SAP Cloud Appliance Library, I guess the main reason is that when you are familiar with SAP, then you know these blogs in the SAP area. If you're familiar with Microsoft, then you know the Microsoft-related blogs. And maybe that's why this videos or this channel is also interesting, because we are really trying to address both Microsoft and SAP focused customers. So what I want to do in this video is to quickly show you end-to-end how you can get started with the SAP Cloud Appliance Library, no matter if you are a hardcore SAP or a hardcore Microsoft-minded user. Before we start, let's quickly take a look on why, well, at least I think the SAP Cloud Appliance Library is so exciting. When I was starting my career at SAP, the easiest way to get an SAP system was to use the mini web application server with a mini SAP license. For this, you had to have a big system, a big laptop basically, maybe a virtual machine running on your computer, which meant an even bigger computer. Now, in corporation, it was and is still similar. I mean, you first need to buy a hardware, which can take weeks. Then you need to install the operating system, install required patches, so which means you need to go through all the nodes that SAP is providing to make sure that the kernel is patched correctly, that other parameters are set correctly. Then you need to find and download the SAP installation files. You need to install the database, install the SAP system, configure the system, prepare the demo content, validate the scenarios, create users and roles, and then finally hand over the systems to the end users so they can actually start playing or using the system. So typically this takes weeks, months, and is obviously a high invest, especially if this system is just intended for a quick demo to give something a try, to check a new functionality or something like that. And with the Cloud Appliance Library, this is actually very different. You just need an Azure subscription, configure the Cloud Appliance Library to connect with your Azure subscription, select the solution that your end users or you are obviously looking for, and deploy it. After a few hours, end users can connect to the system. Once they are done testing, you just terminate the solution and that's it. Nothing to decommission, no hardware that is sitting around, no risk. So really, really easy to do. Well, like I said, there are plenty of videos already available. So what I want to do is I want to guide you through these videos, obviously, but I also quickly want to show you how you can get started by yourselves. So the first link that I want to highlight, and you will find the links also in the description of this video, is a site on docs.microsoft.com where we outline how to deploy an S4HANA system or a BW system on Microsoft Azure. So there's a step-by-step deployment procedure, what you need to do, pretty straightforward. If you like videos better, then actually the SAP HANA Academy has created, or Dennis van Kempen has created, a few videos that also guide you very, very detailed through the whole process on how to get started, how to create a Microsoft user, how to create your first user with the Cloud Appliance Library, and so on. So it's a very beautiful step-by-step process that guides you through the whole installation. So I can also recommend this very much. Well, so again, in this video, what I want to summarize basically all these videos that are floating around. And the easiest thing to get started is if you go to azure.com, sorry, azure.com/free. So if you don't have an Azure subscription, then this is a perfect place to get started. Here you can get a free Azure subscription, 12 months. A lot of services are for free. You get a 170 euros voucher that you can use, and there are even more services that run for free over the whole 12 months. So, for example, there's a B1S virtual machine that you can run. Just keep in mind this virtual machine. Although it's good and it can certainly run several scenarios, it's not certified for an SAP workload. So you would not be able to run, let's say, productive SAP workload. But still, you get this virtual machine and you can easily use it. So in order to get started here, well, you can just click on register for free, and then you need to sign up. So in order to sign up, you need a Microsoft account, so an Outlook.com address or Hotmail or Live or something like that. If you don't have one, then well, you can easily also create one. So just click through create one, enter an email address or something like that, and then you can get started. If you have already one, then well, just enter your Outlook account or whatever, your Microsoft address, and then you will be actually prompted to enter credit card information. So I've now signed on with one of my Outlook users. So you just enter here all the relevant information, and then well, it's always good to also enter the telephone number and stuff like that. And then when it comes to the credit card, so you need to enter your credit card information. Just be sure this credit card information is not there to charge you anything. Actually, this trial is really for free. It's only to make sure that yeah, you don't sign up with hundreds and thousands of users for the very same user and then can charge or then can use Azure for free all the time. It's really, you have to enter credit card information, but it will not be charged unless you explicitly say, well, now my 170 euros are over, you have exceeded all this amount, and then you explicitly say you want now your Azure subscription to be charged. So it's fairly straightforward, and then after a few minutes, you should be able to access your Azure subscription. Perfect. So this is how you get started on the Microsoft side. On the SAP side, it's similar, easy. So you go to cal.sap.com, the Cloud Appliance Library.sap.com, and then you first can really get started here without entering anything. You can access the catalog where you see all these solutions that SAP is providing. Yeah, most of them actually really for free that you can just check out. So, for example, here there's an HANA Express Edition 2.0 Service Pack 3 for the Open SAP course that is currently running. So you can just use this one. Or there are a lot of trial services that you can really just subscribe, and then you can use them for free for 30 days, for example. There are also these model companies. The model companies are a little more complicated because you cannot use them as is. You really have to reach out to SAP, but that's obviously also not a big issue. So that's another thing that can be very interesting. Now, in my case, yeah, you obviously need to log on. And again, if you don't have an SAP user yet, so if you don't have this P user or S user or yeah, a D or I user, then what you would need to do is just click on register. Again, fill out all the required fields. Maybe you can use the email address of your Microsoft user here. Provide a password, company name, and then click on register. Soon after, you will get a link to your email address with this P user, and then you can sign up to your Cloud Appliance Library. So with this, I can head over to my actual subscription. So if I go to portal.azure.com, then I can sign up with my Microsoft account, and from there I can see all the resources that are available from Microsoft Azure. One thing that is important for the SAP Cloud Appliance Library is the so-called subscription ID. So if you go to subscription, or if you don't see, then just select here all services, search for subscription, and then you can add this to your favorites. Here you can see the subscription ID, and that is something that we need later on when we link the Cloud Appliance Library to the Azure portal. So that's just what we need in a second. But for now, if I go to the Cloud Appliance Library, so if I go to cal.sap.com, I can click on Log On, authenticate with my S user or P user, and then I can go to Accounts. In Accounts, I mean, I've already done it, but what you would do is you just click on Create Account, you enter a name, Azure for YouTube channel, SAP on Azure or something like that. Then you select the cloud provider. So in my case, it would be Microsoft Azure. And now I paste the subscription ID from my Azure portal. So I go back to Azure, I take the subscription ID, and then I just paste it in here. If I click on authorized, then you would be prompted again for your Microsoft credentials, because obviously, just entering the subscription ID is not good enough. So you need to authorize access, and that's it. Once that is done, you will see here in your accounts the subscription for your Azure account. Then you're all set. So then what you can easily do, you go to subscription, you look for a nice solution that you want to deploy, for example, for this SAP HANA Express Edition, or maybe even an S4HANA fully activated appliance. Or what I usually like to do if I search for NetWeaver, for example, there are a bunch of NetWeaver stacks. The NetWeaver application server 752 on ASE, for example, or something like that. So there are really a lot of solutions that you can try out. Then what you do, and I'll just go back here to my fully activated appliance, you just, you can go in and take a look at some of the details, what actually will be deployed and stuff like that. There's a getting started guide that helps you with the user credentials and stuff like that. But then what you do is you just click on Create Instance, you select your subscription, you enter a name. So for example, this would be an S4 HANA fully activated. You select the region and then a password. Typically, what you will see is getting a good password is pretty complicated because there are quite a few requirements. And then, you just click on Create, and it would deploy this instance to Azure. This can take a few hours, so typically this takes 3 hours or something like that. What I have already prepared is if you go to instances, then your activated solution will show up here. So in my case, it's a NetWeaver ABAP stack that I typically have. Most of the time it's inactive, so most of the time I suspend this so that I only pay like $20 per month. Only when it's running, then I pay 35 cents per hour. But the beautiful thing here for me is that this is really my very own ABAP system. I like to do a lot of single sign-on stuff, as you have seen in the other videos, for example. And then if I mess something up, I'm the only one who's actually affected, and I can easily revert. So typically what I do is, you can just click on Connect. It's pretty easy, actually. So you can select an SAP GUI entry. You can click on Connect. Then it downloads your SAP GUI logon details. And then, you need to authenticate. So this is all documented in the Getting Started guide. There's a pre-configured user developer, and then you would just select the password that you also entered during creation. And then if you click on Logon, then you're connected to the SAP system. Another thing that you can do is you can also, for example, connect to the front-end server. So typically these Cloud Appliance libraries have a Windows machine connected as well, and this Windows machine has a lot of tools already configured. So there is yeah, and SAP GUI is installed, and ABAP in Eclipse is installed. Sometimes Lumira tools and stuff like that are installed. So this is really a beautiful way to get started and get really full access to the whole system. Yeah, and that's basically it. So again, the Cloud Appliance Library gives you full access to the SAP GUI. Here we go, here's the SAP GUI, but also to the operating system. So either to this front-end server where you can see there the developer tools are installed and some other, well, obviously the SAP GUI and some other tools are installed here, but also to the operating system. So I could do an SSH to the system that is running my NetWeaver system, and I could do a lot of work there. Okay, so with this, back to the slides. I have added a few more links, obviously to the Cloud Appliance Library, to the Azure subscription, but also to the blogs and the other videos that are available also from the HANA Academy. With this, thank you very much for watching. Take a look at our new ID for the channel, and please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.